previous lecture we have seen what is the syllabus for this semester. Now from this lecture we start the first topic, linear differential equations with constant coefficients. We see about this, the auxiliary equation, and then the roots. If roots are real and distinct, roots are real and repeated, complex and non-repeated, or complex conjugate pairs non-repeated, and complex conjugate pairs are repeated. We see these things in this chapter or in this unit. Now first we see the linear differential equation with constant coefficient in the first linear equation. In FIBSC we have seen the first order first degree differential equation. It is called as the linear differential equation of first order. This linear word regarding the degree of that differential equation, not the order of the differential equation. Whatever may be the order of the differential equation, if its degree is 1, then we call that differential equation as to be linear differential equation. In FIBSC, we have seen the linear differential equation of first order. Now, in this unit, we want to see the linear differential equation of nth order, or we can say that linear differential equation of higher orders. Now here a differential equation of first order is of the type dy by dx plus p of x y is equal to q of x, where p of x and q of x are functions of x or constant. We study about this. This is the first order, first degree differential equation, or we call this as to be the linear differential equation of order 1. The most general form of the linear differential equation of nth order is f naught of x dny by dxn plus f1 of x dn minus 1 y by dxn minus 1 plus f2 of x dn minus 2 y by dxn minus 2 plus dash 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 fn minus 1 of x into dy by dx plus fn of x into y is equal to 0. This is the most general form of the nth order linear differential equation. Now, if this f naught of x is non-zero, then we divide this differential equation by f naught of x, and we convert this differential equation into the monic differential equation. Means the coefficient of highest degree term is, coefficient of highest order term is to be 1, then we call it as to be the monic. Now here we divide this by f naught of x, then we get the differential equation as to be dny by dxn plus f1 of x divided by f naught of x dn minus 1 y by dxn minus 1 plus f2 x divided by f naught of x, or you may call f0 of x dn minus 2 y dxn minus 2 plus dash 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 fn minus 1 of x divided by f naught of x into dy by dx plus fn of x divided by f naught of x y is equal to g of x divided by f naught of x. Now here, this is the nth order linear differential equation. Now we take this f1 of x divided by f naught of x as to be p1 of x. The same way, f2 of x divided by f naught of x as to be p2 of x, and so on. In general, we take pn of x is equal to fn of x divided by f naught of x, and this g of x upon f naught of x as to be q of x. Then this differential equation is converted into this equation number 1, means dn y by dxn plus p1 of x into dn minus 1 y by dxn minus 1 plus p2 of x dn minus 2y by dxn minus 2 plus dash 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 Pn minus 1 of x into dy by dx plus Pn of x into y is equal to Q of x. Now here, if the right hand side Q of x is not equal to 0, then we call this as to be non-homogeneous linear differential equation of nth order. I repeat this sentence again. If this Q of x is not equal to 0, then we call this equation 1 as to be nth order linear non-homogeneous nth order linear differential equation, or nth order non-homogeneous linear differential equation. Nth order non-homogeneous linear differential equation if Q of x is not equal to 0. Now, if Q of x is equal to 0, then we call this as to be homogeneous linear differential equation. Or if Q of x is equal to 0, then we call this equation as to be nth order homogeneous linear differential equation. Nth order homogeneous linear differential equation. Now, in this equation 1, if P1 of x, P2 of x, dash 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 Pn of x, if these are the constants, means coefficient in these differential equations are to be constant. Means if we consider the differential equation of the type dny by dxn dx to the power n plus P1 of x dn minus 1 by dxn minus 2 that is Pn x of y is equal to Q of x, and if the coefficients are constant, then we call this equation as to be nth order non-homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient. The name is longer. See the equation number 3. This equation number 3 is called as nth order non-homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient. Nth order non-homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient. And if in this equation 3, the right hand side means Q of x is equal to 0, then we obtain the equation number 4. And this equation 4 is called as nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient. This equation 4 is called as what? Nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient. And in this topic, we are interested such type of differential equations. Means the differential equation of the type equation 4. We want to study about this in the first topic. Nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient. We want to see how to obtain the general solution of this nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient. Now see here, if we see these examples, then the first example is d2y by dx square minus 8 into dy by dx plus 12y is equal to 0. Or we may write this in another notation as to be y triple dash plus 2y dash minus 3y is equal to 0. This is also, we are able to write the differential equation in this notation. Or in the third example, y fifth derivative of y minus 6 fourth derivative of y plus 2y double dash plus 5y is equal to 0. Here rth derivative of y with respect to x, yr, is equal to dry by dxr. Now first we see this theorem. If y1x and y2x are solutions of the nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient dny by dxn plus a1 dn minus 1 y by dxn minus 1 plus a2 dn minus 2 y by dxn minus 2 plus dash 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 an minus 1 dy by dx plus an y is equal to 0. Then for any constant c1 and c2, C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x is also a solution of this equation 5. In the linear combination of this y1 and y2 is again a solution. If y1 and y2 are the solutions of this nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient, and if C1, C2 are any constants, then C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x is also a solution of this equation. Now to see the proof of this, we have seen that what is given y1 is the solution of this equation 5, and we have seen the definition when we can say that y1 is a solution if y1 satisfies the differential equation, then we can say that y1 is a solution of this equation. It is given y1 is a solution. This means that y1 satisfies this differential equation. Similarly, y2 satisfies this differential equation. Therefore, from this, we get dn y1 by dxn plus a1 plus a1 dn minus 1 y by dxn minus 1 plus a2 dn minus 2 y1 by dxn minus 2 plus dash 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 plus an minus 1 dy1 by dx plus an into y1 is equal to 0. And similarly, since y2 is a solution of this equation 5, therefore y2 satisfies this differential equation 5. Therefore, we obtain dn y2 by dxn plus a1 dn minus 1 y2 by dxn minus 1 plus a2 dn minus 2y2 by dxn minus 2 plus dash 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 plus an minus 1 dy2 by dx plus an y2 is equal to 0. And now by using these two equations, we want to show that this C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x is also a solution of equation 5. Now to show that C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x is a solution of this equation 5, for that purpose, in the left hand side of this equation 5, we substitute y by C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x, and we want to check that whether we are able to obtain the right hand side or not. Here right hand side is 0. Then we want to check that whether we obtain this equal to 0 when we substitute y by C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x in the left hand side of this equation 5. Now we see this rth derivative of C1 y1 plus C2 y2 is equal to C1 rth derivative of y1 plus C2 rth derivative of y2. we use the rule of derivative. Means first we find the rth derivative of C1y1 plus rth derivative of C2y2, but C1 and C2 are to be constant. Therefore, we can write this as to be C1 rth derivative of y1 with respect to x plus C2 rth derivative of y2 with respect to x by using the rule of differentiation. Therefore, in this equation, left hand side of equation 5, this is the left hand side of the equation 5. In this equation, we substitute y by C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x. And now using this result, we have seen for the rth derivative of this, using this result, we take the nth derivative of this, n minus 1th derivative of this, and so on. We get this term by using this result and rearranging, we get this term. Now from this, we collect the coefficient of C1 and C2. From these equations, we collect the coefficient of C1 and C2. If we take C1 common, then in the bracket, we get dny1 by dxn plus next term is here a1, a1, this C1 is outside, a1 dn minus 1 y by dxn minus 1, and so on, dash, 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 an minus 1 dy1 by dx plus an y1. This is in the first bracket, and in the second bracket, if we take this C2 as to be common, then the term in the second bracket is dn y2 by dxn plus a1 dn minus 1 y2 by dxn minus 1 plus a2 dn minus 2 y2 by dxn minus 2 plus dash dash dash. Then this term an minus 1 dy2 by dx, c2 is outside, and the last term is a plus an y2. But from equation 6 and 7, we know that from equation 6, this bracket is 0, and from equation 7, this bracket is 0. Therefore, we obtain C1 into 0 plus C2 into 0. This is equal to 0. Means here we have seen that in the left hand side of equation 5, if we substitute y by C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x, we obtain the right hand side which is 0. Therefore, from this, by the definition, we are able to conclude that this C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x is also a solution of this equation 5. Means it is also a solution of nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficients. Are you understand this theorem properly? Here, what we have seen in this theorem, if y1 of x and y2 of x are the solutions of the nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient, and C1 and C2 are any two constants, then C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x is also a solution of nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient. I repeat this, the proof again, try to understand it properly. In the first step, what we have seen, it is given that y1 and y2 are the solutions of the nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient. We call that equation as to be equation 5. Therefore, this y1 and y2 satisfy this differential equation 5. From that, we obtain the equation 6 and equation 7. Now, we want to see the C1y1 plus C2y2 is also a solution of this equation 5. to see this is the solution of this equation 5. For that purpose, in the left hand side of this equation 5, we substitute y by c1 y1 of x plus c2 y2 of x, and we see that we are able to obtain the right hand side. Here right hand side is 0, and we have seen that we are able to obtain the right hand side if we substitute y by c1 y1 of x plus c2 y2 of x in the left hand side of this equation 5, and by using the rules of derivatives and the equation 6 and 7, we have seen that this right hand side obtained means we obtain the right hand side has to be 0, and therefore from this we are able to conclude that the C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x is also a solution of this equation 5. Means C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x is a solution of nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient. Now we want to see there are the following are the two immediate consequences of the above theorem. And we are able to conclude from this, if in this theorem we take C2 is equal to 0, then we are able to say that this C1 y1x is also a solution. This means that if y1 is a solution of nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient, that is equation 5, then its scalar multiplication, we call this C1 y1 of x, has to be the scalar multiplication of y1 of x, or scalar multiple, not the multiplication, scalar multiple of y1 of x, where C1 is a constant. Means if y1 is a solution, then its scalar multiple is also a solution. From this, we are able to conclude this, and we generalize this theorem also. Here in the theorem, we consider only two solutions. Now in the generalization, we consider the n solution of this equation 5. Means we consider the n solution of homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient of nth order. Means if y1 of x, y2 of x, dash dash dash, yn of x, these are the solutions of the nth order homogeneous linear differential equation with constant coefficient, and C1, C2, dash dash dash, Cn are any n constants, then it's a linear combination. Here it is called as the linear combination. We have studied this in SYBSC regarding the linear combination. Mostly we use this word in the linear algebra, linear combination. Now we are from this we can say that this C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x plus dash 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 Cn yn of x is also a solution. And now using the previous theorem, we are able to give the solution of the we are able to give the proof of this statement second. This is an exercise for you to give the proof of this theorem. This is also generalization of previous theorem. To give the proof of this statement, we use the first principle of mathematical induction, and we know very well how to use the principle of mathematical induction to give the proof. We have studied this thing in FYBSC and also in SYBSC. There are so many theorems in mathematics whose proof we are able to write with the help of this principle of mathematical induction. This is an exercise for you. Write the proof of this result to yourself by using the principle of mathematical induction. Now, next we want to see the definition of linear dependence and independence. Also, we have seen these definitions in SYBSC also. Now, we again see here if y1 of x y2 of x dash 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 yn of x are n functions, and C1, comma C2 dash 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 Cn are n arbitrary constants, then the expression C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x dash 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 Cn yn of x is called as the linear combination of y1 of x, y2 of x dash 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 yn of x. Here we use the word expression. It is not the equation. If there is a sign of equality, then we use the word equation. Here there is no sign of equality. Therefore, we can say that this is an expression. Therefore, if y1x, y2x dash dash ynx are n functions of x and c1, c2, cn are any n constants, then the expression c1 y1 of x plus c2 y2 of x plus dash 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 plus cn yn of x is called as the linear combination of y1 of x, y2 of x dash 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 yn of x. Are you understand this? The definition of this linear combination. We want to use this to give the linear dependence and independent functions. Now the n functions y1 of x, y2 of x dash 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 yn of x are said to be linearly dependent. See here properly. These are said to be linearly dependent if there exist n constants c1, c2, that is cn, not all zero simultaneously. Not all zero simultaneously. This means at least one constant out of this C1, C2, Cn is not zero. At least one. Means it may happen that one constant is non-zero or two constant is non-zero or all the constants are non-zero. We say this in a single word. These are simultaneously non-zero. This C1, C2, Cn, these constants are simultaneously non-zero such that C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x, that the Cn yn of x is equal to 0. If this condition is satisfied, means the linear combination of y1, y2, yn is 0, and out of these constants C1, C2, Cn, at least one constant is non-zero, or these constants C1, C2, Cn are not simultaneously zero. Means out of this n constant, at least one is non-zero. Then we can say that this y1, y2, yn are linearly dependent functions. And if this linear combination is zero and all the constants C1 is 0, C2 is 0, that is Cn is 0, then we can say that these functions, n functions, are linearly independent. Means we can say that in that case y1 of x, y2 of x, that is yn of x, are linearly independent. Are you understand these two definitions properly? To decide whether the given n functions are linearly dependent or independent. How to decide? By the definition? By the definition, we consider the linear combination of these n functions is equal to 0, and from that check these constants C1, C2, Cn. If from this equation, if all these constants are 0, means C1 is 0, C2 is 0, that is Cn is 0, then we can say that these n functions are linearly independent. And if at least one constant is non-zero, then we can say that this function is linearly dependent. We see this definition in the by using the Roskian also. We see this definition. If this happens, C1 is 0, C2 is 0, then we call this as to be linearly independent functions. Now see here the examples for regarding this dependent and independent functions. See the first example. If we choose y1 of x is equal to 2, y2 of x is equal to sine square x, and y3 of x is equal to cos square x, then we show that these three functions are linearly dependent. Now, for this purpose, we have to choose C1, C2, C3 in such a way that C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x plus C3 y3 of x is 0, and C1, C2, C3 are not simultaneously 0. म्हणजे काय करायचं ह्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला आर यू अंडरस्टँड दिस टू शो दॅट दिस इज लिनियरली डिपेंडंट. ह्याच्यासाठी आपल्याला काय करायचं की जर आपण किंवा आपल्याला C1, C2, C3 अशा पद्धतीने शोधून काढायचे की C1 y1 ऑफ x प्लस C2 y2 ऑफ x प्लस C3 y3 ऑफ x 0 आलं पाहिजे आणि C1, C2, C3 सायमल्टेनियसली नॉन झिरो असलं पाहिजे. म्हणजे ह्याच्यापैकी कमीत कमी एक तरी नॉन झिरो असला पाहिजे. मग दोन नॉन झिरो असतील, तिन्ही नॉन झिरो असतील तरी चालतील आणि लिनियर कॉम्बिनेशन झिरो असलं पाहिजे. If this we are able to find this constant C1, C2, Cn, then we can say that these three functions are linearly dependent. Now here in this example, if we choose C1 is equal to 1, C2 is equal to -2 and C3 is equal to -2. Therefore, we can say that all these three constants are non-zero simultaneously. They are not zero simultaneously. And if we see C1 y1 of x plus C2 y2 of x plus C3 y3 of x, and this comes to be 0, means we obtain 1 into 2 minus 2 into sine square x minus 2 into cos square x. 1 into 2 is 2. From the next two terms, take minus 2 common. We get in the bracket sine square x plus cos square x. And we know that sine square x plus cos square x is to be 1. Therefore, we obtain minus 2 plus 2, and this is equal to 0. Therefore, we can conclude from this that these three functions are to be linearly dependent. Now see the next example. If we consider y1 of x is equal to e to the power x, y2 of x is equal to, y1 of x is e to the power x, y2 of x is equal to e to the power 2x, y3 of x is equal to e to the power 3x, then we want to show that these three functions are to be linearly independent. Now for this purpose, we consider its linear combination as to be 0. Means we consider C1 y1x plus C2 y2x plus C3 y3 of x is equal to 0. Means we consider the equation C1 e to the power x plus C2 e to the power 2x plus C3 e to the power 3x is equal to 0. And from this equation, we want to find the value of C1, C2, C3. If all these three values are 0, then these functions are linearly independent. If one of them, at least one of them is non-zero, then these functions are linearly dependent. Therefore, we consider this, which is equation 1. Now in this equation 1, we divide this from this equation. What we want to do here, we want to find the value of C1, C2, C3. To find the value of C1, C2, C3 for this purpose, the first step, we divide this equation 1 by e to the power x. We know that whatever may be the value of x, means x is any real number, e to the power x is non-zero. That's why we divide this equation by e to the power x. If we divide this equation by e to the power x, then we obtain the equation 2, C1 plus C2 e to the power x plus C3 e to the power 2x is equal to 0. Now we differentiate this equation 2 with respect to x. differentiate equation 2 with respect to x, we have c2 e to the power x plus 2 c3 e to the power 2x. Derivative of e to the power 2x is to be 2 into e to the power 2x. Now again we divide this equation by e to the power x. Then we obtain c2 plus 2c3 e to the power x. What we obtain? c2 plus 2c3 e to the power x. And again we differentiate this equation with respect to x. We obtain this c2 plus 2c3 e to the power x. This is equal to 0. Again we differentiate this with respect to x. Then we obtain 2c3 e to the power x is equal to 0. Now we know that 2 is non-zero. Whatever may be the value of x, e to the power x is also non-zero. Therefore, from this, we are able to conclude that C3 must be 0. Are you understand from this? 2 is non-zero. Therefore, we divide by 2. E to the power x is non-zero. Therefore, divide by e to the power x. And therefore, we obtain C3 is equal to 0. If we substitute this value of C3 into this equation number 3, in this equation 3, C3 is equal to 0, then we obtain C2 is equal to 0. Then what we obtain? C2 is equal to 0. And therefore, substitute C2 is equal to 0, C3 is equal to 0. In this equation 2, we obtain C1 is 0. Means from this linear combination, C1 e to the power x plus C2 e to the power 2x plus C3 e to the power 3x is equal to 0. We obtain the value of C1 is 0, C2 is 0, and C3 is also 0. Therefore, we are able to conclude that this e to the power x, e to the power 2x, and e to the power 3x are linearly independent. Are you understand this example? We have seen the two example. In the first example, we have seen that the given functions are linearly dependent. In the second example, we show that these functions are linearly independent, and we want to use this result later on. We want to use this result later on. If we consider, if you want to see in the next topic, in the auxiliary equation, if roots are real and distinct, in that case, if we consider m1, comma m2, comma dash mn, these are the real numbers and all these numbers are distinct, then e to the power m1x, comma e to the power m2x dash e to the power mnx are linearly independent. We see this, we generalize this. If we consider all these powers of exponentials are distinct, then these exponential functions are to be linearly independent. We want to use this later on. Now see here, consider now the n functions which f1 of x, f2 of x, that is fn of x, which possesses the derivatives up to n minus 1th order. Means we define the Roskian of these n functions as the n by n determinant. Means the Roskian of this n function f1 of x, f2 of x, that is fn of x, is defined as to be w is equal to determinant of f in the first row, f1 of x, f2 of x, dash 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 fn of x. In the second row, f1 dash of x, f2 dash of x, that dash fn dash of x. The third row, fourth row, there is dash dash dash. Here we are unable to write here dash dash dash. That's why I have written this nth row. This is not the third row. Remember this thing. This is not the third row. Here after this there is dash 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 dash, and then we write this nth row. This is the nth row. What is the nth row? N minus 1th derivative of f1, n minus 1th derivative of f2, dash dash n minus 1 the derivative of fn. Then this determinant is called as Roskian of this n functions f1 of x, f2 of x, dash 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 f1 of x. And with the help of this Roskian also, we are able to decide whether these n functions are linearly dependent or independent. If the Roskian of n function is to be 0, then these functions are linearly dependent. And if the Roskian is non-zero, then these n functions are linearly independent. Are you understand the definition of Roskian? What is the Roskian? If f1 of x, f2 of x, dash dash dash, fn of x, these are the n functions of x having n minus 1th order derivatives. Then the determinant of f1 of x, f2 of x, that dash fn of x in the second row, f1 dash of x, f2 dash of x, dash dash fn dash of x, dash dash dash. The nth row is f1 n minus 1 of x, f2 n minus 1 of x, dash dash fn n minus 1 of x. Then this determinant is called as the Roskian. And I also explain you when these functions are linearly dependent and when they are independent with the help of this Roskian. If the Roskian is to be 0, then these n functions f1 of x, f2 of x, that dash fn of x are linearly dependent. And if the Roskian is not 0, then these n functions are to be linearly independent. Now see the examples based on this Roskian. Compute the Roskian of the following functions: e to the power ax, e to the power bx, e to the power cx. Decide when they are linearly independent and decide when they are linearly independent. Just we have seen the previous example, e to the power x, e to the power 2x, and e to the power 3x. If we compare this example with that, then in this a is 1, b is 2, and c is 3, right, in the previous example. But we want to show this thing by using the Roskian. Therefore, we call this f1 of x is equal to e to the power x, f2 of x is equal to e to the power bx, and f3 of x is equal to e to the power cx. And then from this we write the Roskian of this w is equal to f1 of x, f2 of x, f3 of x, the second row f1 dash of x, f2 dash of x, f3 dash of x, and the third f1 double dash of x, f2 double dash of x, and f3 double dash of x. Then f1 of x is e to the power ax, f2 of x is e to the power bx, f3 of x is e to the power cx. Here don't take dash dash dash. There no dash 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 there. We take this is as to be the first row. We get this e to the power ax, e to the power bx, e to the power cx. Its derivative is a e to the power ax, b e to the power bx, derivative of e to the power bx, and c derivative of this is c e to the power cx. Again, take this derivative of this, means second derivative of this is a square e to the power ax, b square e to the power bx, c square e to the power cx. Therefore, we get w is equal to e to the power ax, e to the power bx, e to the power cx throughout common from each row. We get this 1, 1, 1. Here A, B, C, and here A square, B square, C square. If we simplify this, then we obtain this, simplify this 1 into BC square minus B square C minus AC square minus A square C plus AB square minus A square B. We know that how to evaluate this determinant. Now we get this. If you simplify this and rearranging the terms, this part is an exercise for you. Simplify this and rearranging the terms, we obtain this. This whole square bracket is to be A minus B into B minus C into C minus A. This is the Roskian of these three functions e to the power ax, e to the power bx, and e to the power cx. Now we want to decide when these functions are linearly independent. If all these ABC are distinct, means A is not equal to B is not equal to C, then these terms are non-zero. If all these are distinct, then this Roskian is not equal to 0, and then they become the linearly independent. Right? The answer of the next statement in the example, when these functions are linearly independent, means if all these A, B, C are distinct, then these e to the power ax, e to the power bx, e to the power cx are linearly independent. And we have seen the example e to the power x, e to the power 2x, e to the power 3x. In that example, A is 1, B is 2, and C is 3. Means all these ABC are distinct. That's why that exponentials are linearly independent. Now see, we see one more example. Use the Roskian to show that 1, x, 2, x square are linearly independent. Now again we write the solution of this as to be f1 of x, f2 of x, f3 of x. In the second row, derivative of this f1 dash of x, f2 dash of x, and here we take f3 dash of x. Instead of taking the general, we take the particular this here. And in the third row, f1 double dash of x, f2 double dash of x, and f3 double dash of x. Now f1 of x is 1, f2 of x is x, and f3 of x is 2x square. Now then, the first derivative of f1 is 0. First derivative of f2 is 1. And the first derivative of f3 is to be 4x. And in the second row, in the third row, the second derivative of f1 is 0. Second derivative of f2 is 0. And the second derivative of f3 is 4. Means we take the derivative of this row and write here. If we evaluate this or expand this determinant, we get 1 into 4 minus 0 minus x into 0 minus 0 plus 2x square into 0 minus 0. Means only we obtain 1 into 4 is to be 4. Or we can say that this is the upper triangular determinant and its determinant is the product of the diagonal elements 1 into 1 into 4. You have studied in 11th or 12th standard regarding the properties of these determinants. And since this Varnasian is non-zero, therefore we are able to conclude that these three functions are linearly independent. Means to decide whether the given functions are linearly dependent or independent. For that purpose, you may use either the definition or with the help of Varnasian. I hope that you understand all these basic things properly. And in the next lecture, we want to see regarding the auxiliary equation and its roots. Okay, we stop here.